we talk a lot about nature and nurture within this field because they're so impactful for all areas in our lives. And so nature is really the focus on genetics, so what you inherit from your parents or from your ancestors. And then there's nurture, which talks about our environment. So anything from birth order to experiences to it can be anything within the environment. And so we have a combination, and there was always this debate on which was more important, and so we'll talk about that today. And then there's behavioral genetics. It's really just a study of how behavior is impacted by both genetics, by nature, and by nurture. So these two combining together impacts our behavior and how we process information. So, to begin with, when we talk about genetics, we talk a lot about DNA and how chromosomes and everything are paired together. And so DNA is really a special kind of molecule, and it's linked together by certain chemicals. These are called bases, and they're in a particular pattern. And so each DNA has a unique shape, and each molecule of DNA is linked with others. And so these all create this rod-shaped structure that's called a chromosome. I think I have another picture. And here's like a DNA molecule, the chromosome, and how it all looks together. And so we get 23 molecules from our mother and 23 chromosomes from our mother, 23 chromosomes from your father. Those combined, we come up with 46 chromosomes. And so all these impact different traits that we have. So, when you have different chromosomes, there are dominant chromosomes and dominant and recessive traits. And so, a dominant gene is going to overtake a recessive gene. So if, for example, brown hair, if you have brown hair, at least one of your parents gave you the trait for brown hair, the chromosome for brown hair. If you have blonde hair, then you have two recessive chromosomes or genes from your both parents. So each parent gave you that recessive gene so that you can have blonde hair. So you couldn't have a brown gene and a blonde gene and then have blonde hair, because that brown gene would overtake, the dominant gene would overtake that recessive gene. And so that's how people have different colored hair. And then, but you think, well, but then there's strawberry blonde and there's red hair, and how do they come up with these? And the reality is that usually one gene doesn't dictate a specific trait. Usually it's a combination of genes that impact it, and so that's how people end up with different color hair, such as strawberry blonde or red, because other genes are coming into play to make, to alter the appearance. And sometimes people either have too many chromosomes or they have too few chromosomes. And so when these types of things happen, people have different kind of disorders or issues. And so there can be different kind of disorders depending on if you have too many or not enough chromosomes. So when we talk about nature and nurture, we talk a lot about twin research because it's so fundamental in how people engage, how your genes engage with your environment, how you can test those back and forth to see which impacts certain traits or certain behaviors more than the other. And so when we talk about identical twins, the identical twins, they were born from a single egg. So a single egg and a single sperm combined, and then they separated into two separate babies. And those are going to be identical. They'll be the same gender, they'll look the same, they'll have all the same kind of traits. And then fraternal twins actually have two eggs and two sperm, and so they're not the same. They're not identical. They can be of the same gender, or they can be of opposite genders. They can look similar. They can look, different. They're just like regular siblings. Sometimes you share some common traits, and sometimes you don't. It just depends on what's being passed along through each of the parents. So, identical twins occur about once in every 250 pregnancies, and fraternal twins are actually twice as common as identical twins. And what's interesting is, like I said, they've done a lot of different studies because when they look at identical twins, they share all the same traits, all the same DNA, and they're in the same environment in theory, and so they're looking to see how that impacts their development. When you're looking at fraternal twins, they're in the same environment essentially, however, their genetics are different, and so they're looking to see what kind of impact that has on their development. Now, they've taken and they've done some questionable studies in the past where they had identical twins and they separated them, and so then they looked to see how their environment impacted those identical traits. And so there are actually two links I want to share with you because they're so interesting. There is, first of all, one where these twins were separated at 4 weeks of age, and then they met when they were 39. And so it's a really interesting article to read about their experience and how similar they were, even though they were raised in two very different environments. And so I'll give you just a couple minutes to go ahead and look through that. If you want to copy and paste that in, go ahead and read. It's not too long, this is a pretty short article, but it's really interesting to see the similarities between the two men. And then I also shared another link, and this link is the actually very questionable study that was completed. And this one is about two women who were part of a study where the twins were separated at birth, and they didn't know that they were part of a twin pregnancy. And so these particular women found out when they were 35 that they had a twin. One of the women was trying to find out information about her birth mother and happened to find out that she actually had a twin. And so the lady had contacted her her sibling, and so they found out that they were part of this study. And so they took the twins and they separated them and then studied them for, I think, about 20 years. No, for about 10 years, to see what kind of impact the environment had on them. And the adoptive parents didn't know that they were twins either. They didn't have that information. They just knew that they adopted a baby. And it was part of a study. It was already involved in a study, so the baby or the child was part of the study and involved in it, but the birth parents didn't know why. And so it's a pretty interesting story to read. And the results of the study actually have been sealed, and they won't be available until 2066. And so most of us won't be able to know what the results were because it's such a controversial study. in, I think it was 1980, they finally decided that siblings should be kept together. And so after that rule and standard began to happen within the adoption agencies and with the adoption requirements, then this study was ended, and they sealed the documents, and so no one has access to those for several more years. So if you want to copy and paste this next link, you can see the article about the two women, and it's pretty short, and it just gives a little synopsis about the study, and then a little bit about their reactions.